Hey everyone, this was Hammer. I'd like to welcome you to the channel. Please hit the like, subscribe button. And let's get this video underway, shall we? Alright, first and foremost, y'all know you're probably not going to be what I have to say. And please keep the comments clean. And, you know, keep the profanity out of it. Alright, so let's do this. Alright, so I've been thinking about this. What is wrong with America? It's the school system not teaching kids social skills. Alright? So, and obviously there's a lot of consequences and things that happen as a result of this, but okay, so we hear about kids bullying each other, we hear about a guy asking a girl out, and a girl says no, and then the kid commits suicide, and just a lot of problems, which are all associated with schools. The schools not teaching kids how to socialize. Alright, so I'm going to give you an example of this, alright? And again, this is kind of my opinion on it. But okay, so a guy asks a girl out, right? And instead of the girl just saying no, hey, I don't want to date you, she goes and publicly humiliates the kid in front of the entire school. Like, what does that accomplish? I'm not going to go into any specifics or name anything, but it's like, it accomplishes nothing. The kid who gets rejected becomes angry because he doesn't want to deal with the anger, decides to either physically attack the girl, which does happen, or other things, or starts harassing the girl, or just one thing leads to the other. If we took a moment, if parents took a moment, and the school districts took a moment and said, hey, let's have a class on how to teach our kids how to socialize properly with each other, we wouldn't be having these school shootings and all these other things are happening in the schools. But that's the problem. So, they say, Mr. Hammer, oh, you're attacking the administrations of the school districts. I am, because the school districts can do more. They can, have a class set up called, hell, we teach kids how to read, write, and science. Why can't we teach them social skills? So, that fundamentally, if we could teach kids how to socialize properly with each other. So, all right, and a perfect example. All right, so Kyle asks Jessica out, and Jessica says, hey, Kyle, I'd like you as a friend. I'm not interested in dating you, but I would love to be your friend. Hey, at least that's better than Jessica going and humiliating Kyle in front of the entire school district. But unfortunately, this happens over and over and over. And we are, not, and again, this is kind of the big thing. And yeah, guys, I'm hitting some traffic here on 465 here. But if parents took a moment to also teach their kids that, hey, making fun of other kids is not okay, we would be better off. Okay, I meant when I was a stupid kid, and I was stupid, I made fun of kids, right? I got my ass spanked. That's the truth. And that's what we need to start doing. Parents need to start, if their kid's accused of bullying, parents need to start disciplining their own kids. And quite frankly, need to start teaching their kids that, hey, such behavior is not okay. And so, really, does 100% of the schools not teaching kids social skills, does that truly fall 100% of schools? I think a majority of it does, but I also think that just as much as we put the majority in the schools, it's also parents that need to teach their kids how to socialize better with other kids. And also, there's things I like to school that I don't know if they still happen or not, but, peer-to-peer counseling. So if a student's going through a rough time, if a kid's upset, maybe he's coming from a troubled life or troubled home life, that the students can be there to support that kid. But what we have here is we have kids that just simply go about making fun of each other in school, then posting it on social media. Again, when it comes to Facebook and all that, that's another problem that's happening, is that there's a lot of bullying that happens on social media. And again, all these things that I'm talking about, kids don't understand social skills. I mean, they don't want to communicate properly with each other. These are all things that, basically are legitimate. Parents nowadays, they go to school and they wonder if their kids are coming home. Back in the old days, if we had a problem, we threw a few punches and that was the end of the story. But nowadays, kids are bringing guns to school to solve problems. And then you have you have school shootings that happen. You know, and it all stems from all right, ladies, I know you're going to be a little mad at me for this one, but when you humiliate somebody, and guys, same thing, you humiliate a girl, right? It does a lot of psychological trauma. Okay, so in the case of Kyle asking Jessica out, Jessica humiliates Kyle, it traumatizes them in such a way that maybe they grow up not trusting people, they become afraid of people. And the social consequences affect these children even into adults. Well, some people say, Mr. Hammer, we'll want these kids to go get counseling. Well, that it would be a good idea if the kids knew how to do it. Again, it's just the lack of social skills in America, these kids don't possess. It's leading to a lot of other problems. It leads to drug use, crime, suicide, just to name a few things. And then you have the parents say, oh, well, my kid could never commit suicide. Parents, don't kid yourself, okay? Look, this is the reality of it. As long as your kid's in a public school, he's probably, there's a chance of being bullied, there's a chance of them going through depression, because all kids go through it. And when they suspect it, snap. It's just, and everybody says, why, but nobody wants to really say, hey, school district, my son or my daughter committed suicide because of this particular reason, because they're bullied at school. Like, more can be done in the schools, and I shouldn't be ranting raving about it, but it's the truth. Every day that my nieces went to school, right, or nephews and so forth, I'm sure a lot of people feel this way. We wonder, okay, what's happening in school? There has to be, at a very young age, like in first, second grade, we need to teach kids the importance of proper communication. And maybe I'm saying wrong, social skills, but teaching kids how to properly communicate with each other is probably, to me, the better word to use. Because if they don't know how to communicate at a young age, they're not going to know how to communicate when they become older. Then they don't, and because if they don't know those communication skills, they do not know how to be up or how to establish friendships. And again, it leads to problems that affect children even as they become adults. Is the solution alone just teaching kids communication skills? I think a big part of it is the solution to develop social groups for children so they can interact. Absolutely. I know we have after school programs, I get all that. I'm saying, like, maybe like have programs, maybe kids go to a park for the day or something, or maybe they go do different activities. Maybe there's, now, as far as Facebook's concerned, I'm going to say this. I'm not so much against the children having a Facebook account, although I don't think they should necessarily, because of the fact they can lead to bullying and all that. If Facebook is used responsibly, Facebook Meta is used responsibly, it's a fun site to use. I'm not going to sit here and start ripping on Facebook. Although some of you might say, well, Mr. Hammer, Facebook's the reason these kids bully each other. Yeah, I'm sure that they use that outlet. They use Facebook Meta to bully each other. And it's called, I guess, cyberbullying. And again, that's just, it all runs back to the same point, which is kids don't know proper social skills. If children knew proper social skills, communication skills, you would have less problems in society. You'd have less. You wouldn't have the school shootings, for one, because children would be taught, hey, if there's a problem, this is how I work it out. Also, Kyle asked Jessica out, Jessica humiliated Kyle in front of the entire school, there should be consequences for Jessica doing that. So maybe whether it be that she serves in-school suspension for her conduct, so she understands that, hey, if I make fun of somebody, there's consequences. We need the school districts and parents, grandparents, uncles, need to teach kids that there's consequences for their actions. And realistically, guys, and girls that watch this video, I'm sure a lot of you agree with me on this. We have to change the way the generations are raised. And some of you are going to say, well, Mr. Hammer, they shouldn't be allowed to have a phone. And then some people say, well, oh my God, they got to have a phone. Look, when I was in school, I didn't have a phone. If I had to call my mom, I went to the principal's office, and the secretary called my mom. And I'd say, Mom, I don't feel good, or whatever the situation is. If I got in trouble in school, got sent to the principal's office, my parents got called, right? And again, those are the same things. And the parents need to, when their children is accused of something, parents need to listen to all the sides and figure out, okay, what's the best way to do it? Don't just assume. But they assume, oh, it's my daughter, she's innocent, she could do no such thing. And that is where the problems start. Is that the parents, they don't want to accept responsibility for when the child does something, and the child therefore says, oh, I can get away with it. You know what? I can humiliate Kyle because my mom and my dad love me. I'm their precious little daughter. Right? I mean, so that's kind of, I guess, where all it's going. So can we as a society, as a nation, stop bullying and teach kids proper communication skills? Absolutely. Now I know some of you say, well, Mr. Hammer, not all kids commit suicide. I'm not saying they all do, but I'm also saying that some kids do. And then parents say, well, Mr. Hammer, I wish I knew what's up for. Okay, well, guys, again, I'll do a separate video about it. But basically, a short end of his parents took time to speak to their children as a friend. Right? That's the key word. Don't talk to your kid as a parent. Talk to them as a friend. They'll open up to you a lot more. And if we did that, we would have a better society. We'd have less fakeisms out there, less fake people out there. And obviously, for those of you who see my video about the fake people, you know how I feel about them. And this all stems from the school, these kids that grow up into adults who don't know proper communication skills. And that is the truth of where it stands. Now some parents say, well, I homeschool my kid to avoid this. And I understand that too. And I don't think homeschooling every kid is the answer in America. I think it's reforming the education system. If parents said, hey, we want our school districts to implement, start a petition saying, hey, we want you guys to implement a social skills class, a communication skills class, right? And have teachers talk to the kids daily and say, hey, what's wrong? Hey, teach them what's the right way to communicate, what's the wrong way to communicate, and reiterate that and build a curriculum on it. Say, okay, so we're going to learn conflict resolution. And that's the other point where I'm running in this video, which is why it's running so long, is I'm ranting and raving about kids not knowing communication skills, but also we got to teach our children problem-solving skills. What do you do when a problem happens? How are you going to solve it? And the curriculum needs to be based on how to teach kids, okay, when this problem happens, what are you going to do? Or I'll give you an example. Just a typical example, like, all right, you're riding your bike and it gets a flat tire. How are you going to solve that problem? All right, somebody makes fun of you. How are you going to, or somebody says something that hurts your feelings. How are you going to solve it? Create scenarios and situations to where children can be taught the proper way to solve their problems. And I believe if we do that, right, and that's really, really key, if we do that, we teach these kids problem-solving skills as well, it's going to be only to benefit our society. Think about it. If in the old days, if we started back then, and I'm sure, and we continue now, teaching children the importance of how to solve problems, how to understand problems, and everybody thinks, well, we'll just create a bunch of scenarios, and that's great, but you got to teach them conflict resolution understanding, or CRU. That's my term for it. And basically what it is all right, to teach the kids to look at the conflict from the other side. If they can look at it from the other side, they can become more objective. Hey, that makes sense. I now understand where the other person's coming from. And just simply doing those things is going to be a better benefit to our society. And that's really, I guess, where I'm kind of harping on this whole thing. And I'm sure many of you probably agree with me on this one, that we can do more. But the parents are saying, well, gee, Mike, how do I do this? How do we come together? How do we do it? Parents, come together. You all come together and you go to your school district and say, hey, look, we want this to be part of the curriculum, part of the education plan. This is what we need done here. We need, and then if the districts get enough people saying that, hey, this is what we need done, then they're more likely to do something about it. But realistically, the change to start teaching kids how to solve problems at schools begins with parents who truly understand, who have to understand the consequences of not doing it. And those parents who understand the consequences of not doing that make the change happen, that's what we got to do. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. So, all right, everybody. I hope you like this video. If you guys got any other ideas, I'd love to hear about your comments below. Tell me what you think. What do you think is the best way to teach kids proper communication skills and conflict solving skills? And let me ask you this question. If your kid was accused of bullying, would you take away their cell phone and ground them for 30 days, or what would you do? Tell me in the comments below. All right, thanks everybody for watching this video. All right, bye-bye.